Rumi says when really bad stuff happens to you, these bad things are the things that are going to, in the end, rescue you. Let's see what it says. I'll first read Persian verses and then translate them and interpret them. Rumi says, گر قضا 100 بار قصد جان کند هم قضا جانت دهد درمان کند. He says when the divine destiny is trying to kill you hundreds of times, that divine destiny is the one who is going to rescue you in the end. این قضا 100 بار گر راحت زند بر فراز چرخ خرگاهت زند. Which means that if the divine destiny attacks and steal your stuff, in the end, it's the same destiny that has hurted you. It's going to put you on the top of the universe, at where you really deserve to be as a human being, and give you a lot of value. از کرم دان این که می ترساندت تا به ملک ایمنی بنشاندت. And he says that you have to know the fact that it is trying to scare you is from its kindness, so that it gives you to the kingdom of safety. So start with saying that if you feel that the divine destiny is hurting you and even try to kill you hundreds of times, is actually a good thing. So I will give you a very simple example. Have you been in a situation where bad thing happened to you, but it ended with the good things? For example, you were fired at your job and then you found a better job. Didn't you feel that the mean boss actually gave you a good service by doing that, so you find a better job? What else can we think about? Oh, relationships. Like you've been in a relationship with somebody and that person broke up with you and it felt horrible and awful. And I think at that time you would have thought, oh my God, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. And you couldn't see anything positive in it. But then in the end, you recovered from that breakup, you found somebody a lot better, and then you felt, oh my God, the fact that they broke up with me, it was so amazing because they did me a great service. So this is in a small scale things that we can see. The bad things can have a very good result, but in a deeper sense, when our ego is threatened by bad things happening to us, our reputation being under attack, being bullied by partners, by friends, by family, by co-workers, and really like the worst thing that could have ever happened to us. When these things happen, we may feel at the time that we are the great victim. But we should remind ourselves that those things can be a sort of message from the divine destiny, a negative response from it. But it's actually going to help us and aid us. But how can it be? If we get betrayed by people who we dearly love, if the worst thing is going to happen to us financially, emotionally, etc., how can this be that it's coming from something very positive and it's going to make us to a better person? How is that possible? I mean, at the time that these things happen, I don't think many people are going to say, oh, that's great. This is a very positive thing from the God or from the universe. I think most people don't say that, don't see it this way. But what it does, it removes our attachment from things that we were attached to. And we know that the attachment is a very, very negative thing spiritually. So you lose something, somebody betrays you, a friendship gets lost or whatever, if you weren't attached to it, so the loss wouldn't feel so painful. You felt painful because you were attached to it. And we get punished by the things that we are attached to. That's why the spirituality makes a lot of sense, and it's very convenient, because when we are in a present moment, when we are not caught up in the thought that this thing that we have is so important, our happiness depends on it. Of course, we don't think immediately this way, but we get a lot of sense of pleasure sometimes from having things that maybe others don't have. Maybe some advantages that we have and they don't have. Maybe we are a bit more intelligent. Maybe we are more charismatic. Maybe we have more money. Which is fine having those, but then being attached to it and deep down having this pleasure that in comparison we have more can bite us in the back later. And sometimes in order to remove the attachment to those things, we have to lose them, so that we will be hit by this huge pain. And then we realize that this pain is so unbearable. Maybe I shouldn't have put so much value on the things that I had. And that's the best opportunity for growth. So when Rumi says that گر قضا 100 بار قصد جان کند, he says that if the divine destiny is trying to kill you hundreds of times, it is going to rescue you in the end. Is that when we lose things and we feel that bad things are happening from the side of the universe, we get very negative output. It is sometimes a very great signal that we are now ready to get rid of our attachment to ego and the conversation in the head, and it is the time to realize who we are, which is pure consciousness, which we can be as who we are and just enjoy being without being caught in the thoughts. So, if for hundreds of times we feel we are being robbed by the destiny, we should know that this is what is going to get us to a spiritual status if we are ready mentally and emotionally to lose all our attachment, being able to really enjoy being in the present moment and release the ego. And Eckhart Tolle talks about similar things. He says that, the depression and the worst part of his life, the most difficult part, was the one that made him awaken, because the pain of depression and which was associated with his attachment to the ego was so unbearable that he lost the ego. He said, I can't handle you anymore. Sometimes you sit and think about all this bad stuff, and therefore you feel so depressed, and the depression and the pain, the emotional pain is so much that you can't tolerate it anymore and say, oh, screw this. I'm not gonna follow these thoughts anymore. I want to be happy. I can't handle it. And that's where he got to. So it's good to know the purpose of the things. So please, if you ever experience the same or similar thing, please leave it in the comment section, and like, share, and follow and subscribe to the channel so that I will be able to produce more products like this. Thanks very much, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.